It is 5:45 a.m. and I am up and about in Tokyo. It's Saturday today and it's the MotoGP weekend. The number one motorcycle race competition in the world. And I bought these tickets months ago when I realized I was going to be in Japan at the right time. But ultimately, I don't have my motorcycle with me, so the last couple of days have been busy changing plans, cancelling campsites, and I'm getting the train to this city an hour outside Tokyo. Then I've got to get another couple of trains. It's not the most straightforward, easy route, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. Should be fun on the train though. And today is qualifying and practices and qualifying, and then tomorrow is the actual race. So early start today, but it's going to be totally worth it. It was only a 15-minute walk to the train station, and then a short ride to Tokyo Station, where I got a quick breakfast, and then waited for my Shinkansen, the famous high-speed Japanese train. I had bought an unreserved seat, but there were plenty going so early in the morning. It really does run quickly, and in no time I was at Utsunomiya Station, where I then got onto a bus, helped by a lovely group of Australian tourists who I had met, also on their way to the MotoGP. We then got on a very small local train through the countryside to our last stop at Motegi. And finally, a taxi ride from Motegi Station to the racetrack. And the first thing to enjoy was the whole atmosphere of the festival that is created at the track. Everything is going on, crikey. Apart from a lot of food, there are all the motorcycle brands, the worldwide ones. Obviously there's Honda and there's Yamaha, no Suzuki. So my poor motorcycle is a bit left out, but Suzuki don't enter the MotoGP. And there's helmet manufacturers, spark plug and chain manufacturers, all the important things. Brake pad, and every kind of merchandising that you could expect. I bought, can I say, yet another hat? I left mine in the bike, so that's still in Canada at the moment. So it's such a hot sunny day, I really had to get something. I think I need to get a long sleeve top as well, otherwise I'm gonna burn. But yeah, it's just fun being around here. There are also some famous drivers signing autographs, although to be honest, I didn't actually know who they were. Probably the best part of it was the actual motorcycle brands. Seeing all these bikes close up and even getting to sit on some of them was just wonderful. At the Honda display, I think I sat on all of them. And some places were giving away products. Alcohol-free Asahi beer. I had several of these. And for the real motorcycle geek, there were displays of motorcycle tires too. And yes, I did find this interesting.
but everyone's here for the racing really. And this being qualifying day, there were no allocated seats. You could go anywhere you wanted on the racetrack, sit anywhere unless someone had booked it, and see the track from so many different angles. The map shows the racetrack in green and all the grandstands in yellow. There were 3 different classes of motorcycles racing. MotoGP, the fastest and top one, Moto2 and Moto3. There was a lot to see because each class had practice runs, then qualifying runs, and there was a MotoGP sprint race at the end of the day. Here's the preparation for that sprint race. Hundreds of people, all involved in preparing the bikes and the drivers. And after some great driving, I did a little bit more exploring around the site. Of course the actual racing is the highlight, but oh, this was a close second. I really fell in love with this style of motorbike.
Wow, beautiful bike. Arigato. There really was a whole lot of great entertainment here. Well, what a fun day. It went so quickly. Can't believe I've been here for 4 hours already, but no, 5 hours. Almost 6, can't remember. But yeah, super fun. There's so much going on. Yeah, really had fun, but now it's going back to Mocha. Just a taxi and a train ride away, about an hour maybe, and back tomorrow for the actual race.
So indeed it was an easy train ride back, and then a great relaxing dinner back in town. And then to my accommodation for the night.
It seems that every room here is literally a trailer, just a container box on a trailer. Let's see what the room's like, eh? Everything that you can need. Up again Sunday morning and leaving these fascinating container hotel rooms and heading to the train station. I was going to meet the lovely Australians I was with yesterday, but I completely confused the times. This is very unlike me, but we were supposed to get the train to arrive at Motegi at 10:01, and I was going to aim to get to Mocha at 10:01. So konnichiwa. I was going to be so late. I don't know what I was thinking last night. I even forwarded it to someone else we were meeting. Oh well, I have to get there as soon as I can.
With the mix-up in trains, I ultimately had plenty of time to get some food. And supermarket sushi is just wonderful.
Okay, so trains sorted. The next one is at 10:08. I won't be able to meet the lovely Australians, but at least I'll get to Motegi. From Motegi station to the circuit might be tricky. Try and find someone to share a taxi with again. And I even had time to get a snack, as long as I walk quickly to the train station. Yay!
And just like the day before the main MotoGP race, there was the Moto2 and Moto3 races. So I decided to explore the track a bit more and see the race from some different places. And despite the no excessive reserving sign, it did seem like some people had taken it to extremes. But I could understand why. You really did get a great view of the circuit here. The only issue was that without a clear sight of the finishing straight, with no big screens showing you what was happening, it was a little tricky to tell what the state of the races were. It's still a great spectacle though, the sound's amazing and the food's great too. I'm not a fan of MotoGP necessarily, however, it does seem that most people here are die-hard fans.
And there's just about time before the actual MotoGP race to have a look around the Honda collection hall. All sorts of beautiful old vehicles here, cars, motorbikes, some interesting things.
This really was a beautiful museum to visit. An incredibly comprehensive history of Honda, both the cars and the motorcycles. And some really spectacular motorcycles to dream about owning one day.
I feel I'm cheating on my own bike a little bit being here. I plan to go to the Suzuki Museum next week sometime, so that'll make up for everything.
and you can see how much love, care and attention they give to this museum and all the exhibits. There's also a peek into the history of Honda that you wouldn't necessarily think about. And a look at some things that are really quite difficult to understand. A self-righting bike?
It's even a great experience walking past the parking for all the people who've driven here by motorbike. It should have been me. I'm heading back to the circuit now for the very last event of the day, the MotoGP race. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the main stand where I was yesterday. I think I like that view, being on the main straight. You can see some other bits that are going on. There are screens there, which there weren't on the place I was earlier today. And it's quite near the entrance. I need to dash off. I need to dash off after the race, really dash, to get a taxi, to get a train, to get a bus back to Utsunomiya, where my Shinkansen high-speed train is. It's going to be a bit tight. No, there's one thing that's going to be tight. Getting from the track to Motegi station. Because there's no shuttle buses. The only way to do it is by taxi. And there aren't rows of taxis, which you might expect, or I've seen at certain other sports events. So I'll just grab the first one I possibly can, or try and jump in a taxi with some other people. We'll see.
As I said before, on the practice and qualifying day, there are basically no restrictions on where you can sit and go. However, on race day, it is not the same as that. The only way I could get this view was because I had slightly overstepped where I was supposed to be. Eventually, someone told me that I wasn't supposed to be there, so I moved to a place that I was, which meant the view was a little bit more restricted. There were still plenty of people watching here, but I understood now why so many people were on that grass bank with their chairs relaxed. It was a little bit tricky otherwise. And in some areas without a screen to see clearly, this is the way that people are watching and keeping up with what's happening in the race. In the end, I still just about got a view of the winner finishing the race. And then I started my race.
Dead, die, shinu, die, dead, die, no my before.
So moments after the race finished, I dashed off to the car park where I knew there'd be taxis, and yeah, there were a lot because I was basically the first person there. I'm in a very beautiful taxi on the way to Motegi station, then it's a train, then a bus, then that gets me to Utsunomiya and the Shinkansen train back to Tokyo. It's 3 o'clock now? Yeah, 3 o'clock now. Crikey, it's 4.5 hours back yet. The Shinkansen's the shortest part, but the bus and the train before that take 2 hours or something. Crazy. Anyway, at least I'm gonna make it, it seems, as long as nothing else goes crazy. Stage 1 done, and now just waiting for the bus in this very sleepy, cute little town. And the bus timetable behind me confirms that there is a bus at 4:21, and it is the last bus of the day. There are only 6 every Sunday, so yeah, really out in the countryside here. But one thing it makes me think of is I cannot wait to be on my motorbike and drive out into the countryside. It's just, I think that's going to be some really beautiful driving. But for now, bus and then Shinkansen.
Whilst the public transport that does exist runs perfectly on time and is efficient, it was interesting to find that the MotoGP didn't provide extra transport to help people out. Never mind, I made it onto the beautiful Shinkansen. And after a sleepy journey, it was back to Tokyo and the walk back to my friend's place. What an amazing weekend.